We have a lot of beliefs about the world. I believe that Sacramento is the capital of California. I believe that it won't rain tomorrow, and I believe that I won't be hit by a car this afternoon. But beliefs aren't all or nothing. They comes in degree, in the sense that with different degree of certainty about the kind of things we believe in. The degree of certainty that it won't rain tomorrow, my degree of certainty that it won't rain tomorrow is stronger than my belief, the degree of certainty of my belief that I won't be hit by a car this afternoon, right? So how do we measure a person's degree of certainty about something? So here's one standard view. Here's an idea. How certain we are about things are reflected by how much we are willing to bet on something. So if you ask me to put a bet on whether it will rain tomorrow, the more certain I am that it won't rain tomorrow, the more money I would be willing to bet. Hypothetically, if you put me in a gambling situation, the more money I would be willing to bet on the fact that it won't rain tomorrow. At least in principle, theoretically, our degree of certainty about things can be measured and determined if you put people into a hypothetical gambling scenario and how much money they're willing to bet. That betting behavior would be a way for us to determine how certain they are about things. So that's at least the idea. So what I'm trying to introduce to you is a very interesting phenomenon, is that there are certain kind of belief that this method doesn't seem to work. We perform intentional action. Sometimes we decide to do things. For example, I can decide to go to the farmer's market right now. And when I decide to perform an intentional action, I have a belief about that as well. I believe that I decide to do things intentionally. If you don't believe that you decide to do something, then you haven't decided it, right? So if you decide to perform an intentional action, this decision will always come together with a belief that you are deciding to do so. So next question, right? So you have a belief about what you're deciding to do. So just like any belief, you might ask, okay, you believe something, so how certain you are about that belief, right? Here's the thing. When it comes to this kind of belief, this kind of first-person belief about what you decide to do right now, this kind of belief, even if you have a degree of certainty when it comes to it, it's a kind of certainty that it seems that you cannot measure, at least cannot be measured by the hypothetical gambling scenario I just described earlier. Here's why. If you want to figure out how certain I am that it won't rain tomorrow, you can ask me to bet on it, and depending on how much money I'm willing to bet on it, you can tell roughly, not precisely, roughly how certain I am about it, and that's fine. But if you ask me to bet on whether I decide to go to the farmer's market, it doesn't work. Why? Because how much money I would be willing to bet on the claim that I decide to go to the farmer's market, I would say I'll bet every single penny I have in my bank account. Of course, it's not too much, but the point is I'll be willing to bet everything. Why? Because I can easily just win the bet by making the decision to go to the farmer's market. So it's not like when it comes to raining, whether it will rain tomorrow, I have to bet on it based on what I think would happen. It's not something I can control. But when it comes to whether I decide to go to the farmer's market, it's a decision I can make right now. So for that reason, the whole hypothetical gambling scenario operation would not help us determine how certain I am about my beliefs, about what decision I'm making and trying to make. So that means it seems that we don't have a way to measure my degree of certainty about the decisions I'm making, unlike my certainty about whether it will rain tomorrow, whether I'll be hit by a car tomorrow or this afternoon. Unlike those other beliefs, first-person beliefs about your own decisions are the kind of belief that even if it comes in degrees with different degree of certainty, that degree of certainty cannot be measured by this hypothetical gambling scenario. So what do we do with this interesting phenomenon? A way to go that personally I am more inclined to accept is to say that, yeah, this kind of belief actually is a special kind of belief. They do not come in degree. Beliefs about what I decide to do is a kind of belief that either you believe or not. There's no such thing as degree of certainty about what you decide to do. Either you decide to do something and you believe that you decide to do something, or you don't decide to do something and you don't believe that you decide to do something. So it's a yes-no question when it comes to belief about the decisions you're making. So it's a very special kind of degree, a special kind of belief that does not come in degree. But I know you may not be convinced by that, but the bottom line is I think this is a very interesting phenomenon, and I hope you find that interesting as well.